Almost ready? All right, take a drink of water.
Oh, mics are live.
Testing, testing. All right, it is now 3 p.m. on Tuesday, April 8th, and I'm welcoming everybody to the Finance Committee of the Indian Wells Valley Water District. So call to order officially, again at 3 o'clock. Are there any committee or public comments? Nobody rushing through the door? Okay. Fraud risk discussion. Anything gone on there, Ty?
No, we have nothing to report.
Very good news, thank you. All right, on to Groundwater Authority, imported water costs. George, I guess I don't know if there's, again, much more to say about that. We've covered that over and over again. I mean, just unless there's something new about it.
Nothing
Okay,
really new to discuss. We know when we have our best estimate of how expensive it is, and, we keep pushing that message out there.
when is their audit due out? Ty, you said if you looked at the audit, you might be able to tell how much money they actually have.
Right. I don't know when it's due, but
Well, let's try and, we'll try and ask Chuck if he can find out, because it should be due. I thought they approved it a couple meetings ago,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken,
I
yeah.
don't know.
They might have it under lock and key. Anything else on imported water costs from the GA, except that it's way too darn expensive and we can't afford it? All right. Financial statement. All right.
Okay. Through March of this year, we have 12.6 million in revenue,
Hmm.
which is about 1.4 million over budget. That's just due to an increase in consumption this year. It has been a warm winter and it
Yes, yeah, it
continues.
has been, it's been warm and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then capital contributions, we've had some building startups. It's a lot of duplexes going up, but compared to last year, we have more service applications. On the expenditure side, we're at 3.6 million, which is 778,000 over budget. Most of that due to the GA fees associated with increased pumping.
Pumping, okay.
So, so the net is a negative 1,066,000, which is actually 609,000 better than estimated budget at this time.
Okay.
For capital expenditures, just under 7.5 million. Of that, 6,095,000 is funded by grants as well as other one-time money, the assessment district revenue and bond funds.
All right.
Debt service principal, 845,000, and then to date, we have paid the GAs. We hit the 17 million mark.
It makes me choke all the time. Couple quick questions.
Yeah.
When those duplex go in, are those, do they put dual meters in there? Are they individual? Is that how they're doing it?
They're individually metering them right
Okay,
now.
that's what I thought. And I think the other question was, when you figure the GA fee, when you budget it, do you normalize that across the 12-month period? Is that what you do, or you try to?
No, I try to
You
base
do
it on actual
best you can.
consumption. Yeah, so
Okay,
it's not a straight line.
Okay.
It is month specific.
okay, month specific, okay. Same thing with water sales? You
Yes.
try to do the same thing?
Yep.
I know it's difficult,
It is, I'm going off of last year's.
okay,
That's the closest number I have, and as I said, almost every month we have been over that.
okay. Yeah, I noticed that I know that Renee sent out the water usage for March, a little bit higher than it normally is. But not that much, but it's in there, yeah. Okay, I don't think I have any other question, except every time I see that replenishment fee amount, I choke. Stan, you have anything you want to say?
Capital expenditures and the unrestricted capital expenditures are roughly the difference between the total and the restricted. But you mentioned that there was still a difference because of some of the expenses not being put into the capital side of the budget. Is that still your feeling that?
Is your mic on,
No,
Stan?
I think,
Is your mic on?
I think
Sorry.
I think we've captured all of the capital in there. That 7.4 million, I believe, covers it all.
That 1.3 really is unrestricted.
Right.
Costs, okay. And by the way, I really appreciate you adding that line there, because that answers a lot of my past questions.
Yeah.
But then if we look at the difference, which is like 1.3 million, the question that I would have is, okay, 1.3 million, how does that compare with what we had budgeted? That is, in order for us to know how we're doing relative to an overall balance, if we had only planned on spending, or if we had planned on spending $2 million, then we're looking really good. If we had planned on spending $500,000, obviously it's bad. So can you give us a feel for where we are relative to what we were planning on spending in terms of?
Yeah, for the non-bond grant funded projects, we had budgeted, it was just under 1.5 million for the year. So
Under
we're,
1.5?
yes, we're coming up on that.
Okay,
Getting close.
okay, so, yeah, we're getting close, but we're under.
Yes.
And we have, what, 2 months?
3 months.
3 months.
May, June, well, rest of April, May, and June.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Anything that out of the ordinary or as you expected or everything?
Yeah, I mean, we're tracking it.
Yeah.
We wanted to do more in the capital side, but we've had to kind of, once again, push a little bit off because we are going over what we budgeted for this groundwater model.
Right. Yeah.
So that is affecting some of the things we want to do. We're hoping next year we'll.
And I'm hoping it's
for some
coming
of
to
that.
an end come like another
Yeah.
16 days or 10 days or whatever we are at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that all has to be out to the courts by the 20th, I believe, of this month. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't have expected that to be such a hard to define number. You know what I'm saying? It ought to be, this is what it is, but it was doing this on you. Yeah. Hard to catch her.
As far as the groundwater model.
Yeah.
I just didn't have all the information. You know,
Okay.
what I did have, I budgeted for, and there's a whole bunch of other task orders out there that had no idea about, so I didn't budget for them.
Didn't we ask Tim? I thought we asked Tim to provide you.
Yeah,
Did he?
we got them now.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
A little late, though.
right.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on the financial statements before we move on? Hearing none, we'll go on to the fiscal 26 budget update. And I think you must,
Yeah, just kind of give you where we're at, a status
right,
update. I have completed the revenue side of the budget.
okay,
I actually have Jason going through it, just checking my formulas, make sure I didn't miss anything. We are starting on the expenditure side.
okay,
We'll have a little more work than we have in previous years, just due to having the construction crew now. So we got to take the transmission and distribution budget and kind of split it out into the two groups.
Are you creating a budget number or whatever for the construction?
They'll
group?
have their own account numbers,
Okay.
but I ran out of department numbers. So
Okay.
they're still going to be housed within
Okay.
transmission and distribution, but they have their own account numbers, so we
Okay.
can track that. As well as taking those numbers and shifting what can over into capital.
All right.
Because.
Yeah, that's right, because I assume
Most of it
a
should
lot of
be
theirs is
capital.
going to be a capital expenditure. Okay,
So we're working through those things. We're hoping to have a draft to you for the next committee here, meeting in May.
in May, okay.
So you can
And-
look over it and,
One thing that we'll do as well is we're gonna create,
Microphone.
oh, my microphone's not working?
Oh,
Not
it's working,
working.
but you're talking out of it, yeah.
Okay, so, one of the things I want to do is, put a wedge in there, what I'll call a, discretionary budget for the board. And so that gives you some leeway to, adapt to changes and things that occur during the year. And, there may be specific things that might fit into that, but, you'll see that as well, so that the board, when we're, when something happens, I think we can go look back and say, like, remember when we had to do all the notifications because of the
Oh, yeah.
adjudication, and this bill came out of that? Like, I want to make sure the board has what I'll call a a fund for that type of unexpected expense so that we don't have to pull it out of somewhere else. And we'll discuss what that is as well.
All right, I hope not to see a lot more that, well, maybe as we're getting through adjudication, who knows? There
Yeah.
may be other things that pop up all the time. Yeah. Okay.
I think next year is probably going to be one of the most complex years that we have had in terms of budgeting and tracking of budgets, just because we've got so many different projects going on.
Yes.
And we're also using in-house labor for a lot of the capital expenses. So all that combined, Ty mentioned that he was hoping to have everything done so we can look through it next May.
Next May.
And I think that's absolutely critical that
Yeah.
we do that so that we know exactly. I'm mostly interested, not mostly, interested in all of it, but making sure we understand that what we've got in terms of the restricted capital expenses and the unrestricted capital expenses, and have two well-defined lists of how much money is going to be in each one of those, so that we could really understand, because I think, normally we don't have that much, interplay between one budget, the restricted and the unrestricted. But this year, I can see a number of grant things coming on, and the use of the in-house labor. I think that's all of that's going to complicate the budget. And so that makes it harder to have it done by next May, but it also makes it more important that it is done, so that we have more than just June. Because I guess if we don't see it next May, it'll then run into June, and then there's really no time for us to look at it more deeply. So really appreciate having the capital side of that done, and two lists regarding the restricted and the non-restricted funds.
And I appreciate what you have to go through with the new construction crew, because you're going to be asking both Jason and Renee to project in the future what is going to be done by that crew, and that goes into the capital. So,
Yeah, that's a lot of planning, because you got to take the project and how long does it take? How many people does it take? What
Right.
materials does it take?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly why I was
Yeah.
pointing that out, is it's going to be complex.
all right.
And that means not only putting it together is going to be complex, but even monitoring it is going to be more complex than what we normally
I
have.
can't wait.
Can't wait.
So excited. I see that look on Renee's budget time. What a wonderful time of the year. Okay. Anything else now before we move on?
No, nothing else.
All right. We'll move on to accounts payable disbursement. Give me a moment to glance through here. No, I'm just looking for anything that's an anomaly in a way. If you have any questions on them.
Well, I'd like to know what page you are on. so-
I always start with just this page here. I usually don't look a lot at, because that's mostly contributions for,
Oh, right.
yeah, taxes and everything. That's a given based on payroll.
Right.
It's all the check issuing, and the one, of course, comes to mind right away is,
No, I agree. I just
yeah.
want to make sure that when you're commenting, I understand what page and line item you're commenting on.
So Ferguson Waterworks, is that the pipe?
That's the pipe.
That's it. That's how I thought it was, yeah.
Mhm.
How many feet did you buy?
I'm sorry, is that page 2?
Yeah, well, it's it's
5,280.
listed as page 1 on the accounts payable.
Oh, page,
It's,
oh, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay,
It's page 2 of the packet.
So that's a half mile of pipe, and we're expecting the other half mile bill.
Okay. Lucky you got it.
but we've only paid for half of it, right? I mean, we're
Correct.
paying in as we get it.
Right.
So it's gonna be double that number in the end, because I think we authorized like 450 or 500,000.
Yeah.
JC Coatings. What
That's-
was-
I want to make sure
Gateway
there's no
tank
line
recoat.
out here for Ron on here.
I'm just going down. Go ahead, JC Coatings.
The gateway tank recoat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That was a recode, okay.
There's still a little bit more work to be done, but that's the
yeah.
majority of it.
They have
Aye.
to come back and disinfect, so we still have the 5% retention.
Okay.
So Ty, the first item, the Aqua JP IA, that's our insurance payment. Is that monthly or is that like a quarterly?
That's monthly.
Monthly.
Monthly, and insurance is expensive. That's insurance, correct?
Yes. Yep. It's going up next year, $100,000.
What?
$100,000 a month.
Oh,
Well, no, it's going up a total of 100,000.
total 100,000.
Okay. Wow.
Don't say a month.
Still,
Well,
that's
if
a
it goes up
lot.
100,000,
It's the big one.
if it's 80,000 now, it'll be close to 90,000 a month then,
Yeah.
so it's not that far off.
No.
Right. Does Rambo include that additional special,
When it was 38.
analyst that we,
Yeah.
No, that's a separate one. You'll see that SS Papadopoulos. I don't know.
Yeah, I know who you mean. It's
Sorry,
the,
I don't know.
it's the consultant firm that's our expert.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think we only have so far received a bill for $600.
Ramble should be about, I hope to see some of this stuff dwindle way off as this model gets out there,
Should, yeah.
you know. But again, it's a bunch of geologists and model engineers that until you tell them to stop, they're going to keep going. They're always going to find something. So,
and does Tim have an additional line besides the Rambo?
Just who, sorry?
Tim
Yeah.
Parker, does he have his own item?
He does, you'll see,
Tucker
I haven't
groundwater?
received any, he usually bills on a quarterly basis.
Okay.
And I haven't seen
Oh,
anything
okay,
yet.
okay. Well, I couldn't find it. That was why.
And he's
That's
all,
fine. I was
is he all
just
caught
curious.
up?
Yeah.
He's all caught up because of remember the invoice?
Yeah, all
Wait,
you have
wait.
to do is call me if you.
I know, exactly. That's what. All right. I don't see anything else on this one. Except I'm in the wrong profession. I ought to be a lawyer. So-
I have nothing on page 4.
Yeah, I don't see
That's
anything.
the
Yeah. I don't see anything.
employee
Industrial Bakersfield,
dollars.
Ramble again. Krieger and Stewart. Yeah, I don't see anything on the second one either. Says inspections. No, so Ramble had back to back, didn't they? They had Ramble had a 56,000 and then a 34,000, huh?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Is that-
yeah. Is that all for the same month?
Oh, I see, okay.
Groundwater litigation, yeah, they have several different task orders that they bill under.
What is Royal Industrial Solutions?
That's a magnetic starter for one of the wells. A magnetic starter for one of the wells.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, we got to pay our bills. On the very last page, which is WQI, I don't recall seeing that.
So that's, every year, every 3 years, we hire this company to come out and do training for the distribution certifications.
Yeah, we
and
need
whatnot.
Oh,
continue.
for our search, that's once every 3 years? Okay, all right. You saw that one, Stan, it was on the very last page.
The nice part is that we also invited the city here and they are covering part of that. We'll get part of
Oh,
that
really?
back, yeah.
Okay. Are we still in speaking terms?
Yeah.
Okay,
With
just
the
wanna make
staff, yeah.
Okay. I don't see anything else on here, Stan, that I need to know about. How about you? Anything else?
So I recommend that we have the
Approve?
group approve the
Okay. I agree.
venture.
Recommend approval of the accounts payable. All right. I believe we come up to, we're already on future agenda items. Anything else that we feel we need to be on here?
No, we'll just have the draft budget on there.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if this will be on there, but there may be, at some point, we're going to do labor negotiations this year, and there will be things that affect the budget, probably not significantly, but you'll want to know what those are. So I don't know if that needs to be a separate agenda item. We've done that in the past, but there are,
It's usually all closed session
It's,
stuff.
yeah,
and
it's
so we
usually all
don't-
closed session. I
Okay.
don't recall seeing anything on any of the
okay,
finance.
so we'll just do
committees
that in
before.
closed session. I always
Yeah.
wasn't sure we
Um,
needed something.
Shouldn't next year's salary be included in the budget
Yeah,
that
as-
we're approving?
It is. There are other things that will affect the budget that are up for, there might be some benefit they want or
But
something.
that'll send, that'll,
Increased insurance, so
Right,
like-
I just got to
things like
make,
that
want to
could-
make sure that we weren't using this year's salaries to generate next year's
no,
budget, because that would.
So the salary survey is on for this board meeting.
over this board
So
meeting.
you, at least the salary survey part, you'll see, and we'll have that incorporated in
Right.
here. Anything with negotiations,
Yeah.
You're making some assumption relative to a sort of an average
Right.
increase over across the board, and so
right, like,
it'll be close.
like these
I
people.
hadn't been
can-
through the salary negotiations, and in the DOD, it's generally pretty transparent, so I'm different process.
Okay. So what will be happening at the board meeting? It's the salary survey, and we'll be asking to accept the survey is all? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
thought.
think there's
Okay.
not very many changes.
All right. Anything else?
I have no
Okay.
agenda item.
Hearing nothing else, I will go ahead and move on to adjournment of this meeting at 3:21. Thank you.